Well, welcome everyone. This is Charlie Silva, Director of Special Education for the state of Idaho. Thanks again for joining us. This is our, I believe, third webinar. We have an awful lot to cover today, but before we get started, I just want to do quickly some introductions. From my team today, we have myself, Anthony Makuna, Karen, Dr. Karen Striegel, and Shannon Dunstan, as well as our consultant, Elaine Eberharder-Mackey. From our partners at SESTA, we have Julie and Brianna. And we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to start by sharing all the new resources that we have available to you and your school staff. We will then go into the Q&A, and Elaine and I will go over the questions that we have received since our last webinar. Before I turn it over to Julie, I want to just share and give some quick updates of things or documents, information, etc., that we have received since our webinar a week ago. As many of you know, if not all of you know, that this past Friday, the governor made a requirement or a request of a 1% holdback for all state agencies, school districts, etc. So I know many of you are struggling to figure out how that will impact your individual districts. So that happened last Friday. As of yesterday, many of you, I'm sure, participated in the superintendent's webinar yesterday afternoon, where the team shared the information on the U.S. Department of Education stimulus package for the state of Idaho. They are estimating, and again, this is an estimate, of roughly $48 million coming to the state of Idaho. 90% of those dollars will go directly to schools. Really don't have any more information than that at this point, but as we learn more, we will again continue to keep you informed. The third document that has come out is on March 27th. The State Board of Education provided additional guidance for the original document, which I think was the 23rd, where they requested schools closed. So that is on the governor's website under State Board of Education. Two documents hot off the press. One earlier today was the OSEP update, and that I believe Brenda sent out to all of you a couple hours ago. Then, literally maybe an hour and a half ago, received the letter that was submitted by the National Association of State Directors of Special Education, so my professional organization, as well as CASE, Administrators of Special Education. The two organizations joined forces and submitted to the U.S. Department of Education today a letter, a rather lengthy letter, requesting a number of potential flexibilities as it relates to IDEA. They are recommendations that deal with timelines, procedural, and fiscal flexibility. Again, it was submitted just today. As we learn more in terms of what the U.S. Department of Education decides to do with those recommendations, we will again share that with you. But I think it's important to remember, I know right now a lot of us are feeling like we're overwhelmed and people aren't listening and no one's advocating. And I just want to remind everybody that this is a big deal, that they joined forces and have submitted this joint letter on behalf of all of us. So people are out there. We're all trying to do our very, very best. It's just, we just have never been here before. So each day is new and exciting. So anyway, those are the updates since our last webinar. We will address some of this in greater detail when we get to the Q&A, but for right now, I would like us to change our focus and look at the plethora of new resources, I believe to the tune of 7 or 8 new resources that SESTA has been able to create for you and all of your staff. That's pretty impressive that they were able to get that much done in a week's time. So I would like to turn it over to Julie Mead and to Brianna and let them showcase all of their great work.
Great, thank you, Charlie. We just wanted to start off by thanking you, all you directors out there, and we've received a lot of feedback from you about what's working, what's not working, and what you needed next. And so hopefully we've been able to meet some of those needs today. We're actually going to lead off with some behavior resources, and I will turn this to Bree Kober for that.
Thanks, Julie. So I am going to start out, like Julie said, we've heard some requests for some specific behavioral resources. So we wanted to continue with a Padlet, but we created one specific for behavior. We tried to identify some clear categories where we had some resources that we hope can be useful for your teams.
Bree?
Yes.
Did you want to share your screen?
Yeah, that'd probably be a good idea, huh?
Thanks.
There it is. Okay. I wanted to just first identify the different categories. We have some proactive strategies, some preventative measures, social, emotional, early childhood, self-care, and then some for parents. We are going to continue to add to this. It can be located on the ITC, just like the other Padlet resources that we have so far. And all the way to the left, though, I do want to show everyone, which I had them pulled up. Oh, I had them pulled up here first. The first guidance tool that we created was to support students for transitioning back to school. We did create this before the extension. So this tool, however, can be used for all sorts of transitions, not just this specific situation, but we just have some guiding ideas on reducing demands, increasing the schedule of reinforcement, etc., with specific examples of how we can use those to help make transitions successful for our students. So we really hope this could be a useful document for your special education teachers and also your parents. This is another guidance document that we created. I wouldn't necessarily say guidance document. It's more of just a visual to show you all what we are trying to provide to the state as far as a continuum of behavioral supports during this time. The biggest purple section on the bottom is our preventative strategies that we like to suggest to all teams and parents, teachers, for students. These strategies will help any students. And we do have some specific ideas under there, but I just want to focus on the 3 main ones because we are going to be providing a resource that will be added to the Padlet later this week, where we're going into really great detail on different concrete examples, such as first thens, visual schedules, token boards. We will have that resource ready in the very near future, and it will give you a lot of detail on how to utilize these supports in this new online learning platform. But when we talk about these preventative strategies, our goal is for parents and teachers to use these to try to prevent behavior in the first place from happening and really setting up this online learning platform for success for these students. The 3 main categories we always focus on are predictability, motivation, and appropriate instruction. These make it easy for students to know what the expectations are, what the activity that we're asking them to do, what that consists of, and also, usually, most importantly, when this activity is going to end. However, whenever you do these, there are going to be students who need a little more refinement, and they need a little bit more focus in order to support them throughout this. And that's when we want to start, where I'm on that green section now where it says focus on function. we're really we want to start looking at the function of those behaviors. And we may have had a really good idea of the function in school settings, and it may be the same. However, with all of these transitions and the different learning platform, we may need to relook at what the function of some of these behaviors are. And then once we identify that, you can use some of the tools that we've been using in schools, such as competing behavior pathway, to transition to this online learning platform. And it still works, and it's still a very effective way to identify some prevention techniques. How are we going to replace that challenging behavior? And then as well, how are we going to respond to that challenging behavior? Also on this section, we have multiple modules. I'm not exactly sure what the format's going to come out as yet, but we have a couple modules or PowerPoints or documents that will help, such as functional thinking, prevention strategies, replacement strategies, and responding strategies. So we'll be looking for those in the very near future. Probably our goal is by next week. So, and then of course, the top of the triangle, we just want to remind everyone that we are still here, we're still supporting, we're still coaching through this time. If you have a help desk ticket already opened, go ahead and continue to reach out to your behavioral coordinator. If you do not have a ticket already opened, I have provided the link at the bottom of this document for our help desk. You can reach out and put in a ticket, and one of our behavioral coordinators will reach out to you and see how we can help support you in your specific situations relating to behavior. We are coming up with some more strategies and ideas on how to coach you in this new situation, such as Zoom meetings, which we have done for a long time now. So Zoom meetings or phone calls, we're trying to provide a variety of coaching techniques. So if you do have a very complex situation with a challenging behavior, please feel free to reach out. We are still here and we're still coaching. And that is all I have, Julie. So I will stop sharing and pass it to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to work on sharing my screen here. So definitely more to come regarding behavior resources and topics. I want to just walk through really quickly some of these, some of the resources that we've created over the last few days, and again in response to what we understand people are needing next. So the first is a progress monitoring log. And again, with all of these documents, we've been hearing from folks that they're taking these and modifying them to meet their district's needs, or combining some of them, and that's exactly what we want. So we love that, and keep doing that, and also keep providing feedback, because if there's ways that we can make these better or provide additional tools, we'd love to do that. But this is a simple progress monitoring log that you could use in addition to some of the other resources. This one is already posted on the COVID website, the idahotc.com/COVID-19. You can get that today. The next documents, the rest of these documents, we hope to have posted by the end of the day tomorrow. So they're not currently available, but they will be very soon. This is a paraprofessional guidance document, and it really has it's really just some quick do's and don'ts specific to the environment is changing a little bit. The paraprofessional guidance handbook that we have already had for some time covers some scenarios about, if a parent asks this, what should your response be? But wanted to cover some do's and don'ts specific to this new environment, because where it may become slightly less formal as you're doing delivery over the phone or through Zoom and those kinds of things. We want to make sure that the confidentiality is still high priority, and also making sure that paraprofessionals are practicing within what they're expected to do according to your district and your expectations. The next is just a quick table we put together, found some resources about just some things to consider as you're supporting parents through alternate instruction. Again, some of these things might be present, these types of considerations are present on some of the other forms, but this is just in one spot. Communication considerations, parent support guidance, setting up the home learning environment, technology considerations, and work scheduling and pacing considerations. This, for example, might be something that you use when you make that initial phone call to parents to remember to address all of these things. So that's just what that's for. The next is a sample team meeting agenda, and this isn't all, how a meeting runs isn't altogether different from how meetings run normally, other than there are maybe some specific guidance here and questions that that teams might want to consider again as you're meeting in this during this time, and it does link to some of our other resources as well if needed. This one again came from a director in the States shared a sample document of a caseload spreadsheet. The idea with this one being all the other documents are specific to individual students. This might be a way for folks to capture their whole caseload and be able to share with related services professionals. So again, use it or don't as it works for you and your teams, or modify it. But this is just another example of a way to track some information, because as we shared, documentation is the #1 priority in terms of making sure that you're covered. And then the last two are specific to early childhood, and this again is in response to what people are asking questions about right now. This is a sample daily schedule, where you might fill in the goals and the target skills for the student, some ideas of what the intentional teaching practices are going to be, and then how the skills are addressed. So actually some really solid types of ideas of how to address those types of skills. Over here, a teacher-led activity, so you might do a video, you might share, you might have packets that you've been able to give out, those kinds of things. And then these link to things like how to make videos and those types of resources. Again, playtime activity bag, what would you do with those? We might model play with Play-Doh blocks and so on. So, and what will also be coming with this is a blank template of this. So if folks want to actually use this as a sample and then build their own, they could, but these are just some great ideas. And that is linked here as well to some ideas about an early childhood activity bag. As folks are putting together things like packets, learning packets and things like that. Well, for early childhood, you might consider putting together a zip top bag with, some blocks or some glue sticks or scissors and things like that. And then actually looking at it in terms of the types of topics you discuss, the morning routine. Well, if you're going to talk about weather, here's some printed materials you might add. Here are some suggested activities, days of the week. So thinking about how those early childhood routines go. And it goes through a ton of topics, morning routine, math, some resources here, activities that folks can do, all the way down to literacy, and then even some fine motor type of activities. And embedded in the literacy are going to be things that address vocabulary and some language activities and things like that. So that's the short version. Again, we hope to see these posted by the end of the day tomorrow on our site.
Great. Thanks, Julie. Will you go back, Julie, and just share your homepage that has the Padlet and everything?
Of course.
And while you're doing that, Shannon, did you want to weigh in on any childhood questions that may have come your way?
Yes, I'm getting a lot of questions on what are we going to do about the early childhood exits and transition from Part C to Part B, as well as other instructionary question, how to deliver instruction. Julie and her staff have been phenomenal in working with me and identifying early childhood activities and documents that can be used. And in their Padlet for resources by topic and grade level, if you go clear off to the right, you'll find some preschool materials. The answer to the early childhood outcomes and transition from Part C to Part B, unfortunately, I have not received an answer from OSEP directly. I have been in daily contact with the Early Childhood Technical Assistance Center, asking them poignant questions about what do we need to do about the early childhood exit ratings? What do we need to do about initial referrals from Part C to the Part B program? And all I get from them is, it's coming. Charlie and I have had a conversation. I could give you my best guess, but we would much rather wait for OSEP to give us concrete guidance and then share out what they're going to hold us accountable to before we share anything that might be our best guess. So with that being said, there was a question of what are suggestions for reevaluation for those that are aging out of developmental delay. I think Elaine and Charlie in their Q&As have talked about reevaluations and initial evaluations. So go back and look at that guidance, because we're going to all follow the same rules and regulations, whether you're a 3-year-old or you're a 21-year-old getting ready to exit the program.
Great, thanks, Shannon. And thank you, Julie and Bree. And the reason I wanted you to go back and show your homepage on the ITC and the Padlet is just to remind everybody there is so many resources out there and that are available for teachers. I know I have a person on my staff that has actually gone and looked at all of the resources for teachers and has actually used a lot of the resources for their own children, and they were very, very impressed with just the amount and the quality of the resources out there. But all of that is only good if our teachers and our related service personnel know about these resources. And of recent, we have been getting a number of calls or emails from teachers asking us for resources, and our answer is always go back to your director. All of that information has been shared with them, and we also send them to the ITC. But please, please, these resources won't do any of us any good if they're not being utilized. So make sure you get this information to your teachers and related service personnel. All right, and we look forward, Julie, to what you all create for the next webinar. So thanks again for your team's hard work on creating all of the resources. All right, it's now time to switch our focus and go over the recent Q&A. Shannon is going to pull up the document. I believe Brenda was able to send this out to you, an hour or so ago. If not, we will make sure to get the document out to you. And as always, it will be posted on the State Department's website, the governor's website, so it is out there available to all. The first set of questions that we want to go over have to do with funding and fiscal accountability. And Anthony, if it's all right, do you want me to read the question and then you read the answer, or you share
Yes.
the answer?
Yeah, if you read the question and answer, that'll be great.
Perfect, great. All right, as you can see up on the screen, the first question, if an employee who is paid out of Part B SPED funds works say 4 out of the 6.5 hours they normally work, would the Part B budget be able to cover the 2.5 hours not worked, or would that compensation need to come from the general fund? I'm going to continue on, and then Anthony will answer all three of these. If we are able to pay the portion of the employee's time when they are not working out of Part B funds, is there a percentage we can pay? Say if we require a classified employee to put in 50% of their regular hours, could we pay them the other 50% of their time, or possibly a percentage of this time from Part B? Anthony?
Yep, so for this question, we have not yet received any formal written guidance, but the following guidance was shared with us verbally by OSEP at the U.S. Department of Education and some other technical assistance center. For example, during the H1N1 outbreak, the U.S. Department of Education took the following position. If the LEA has a policy of paying employees during a school closure, then the LEA should follow the policy for its federally funded staff as well. In other words, if state fund will pay state-funded staff during the closure, then IDA fund can also pay IDA funded staff. And then we have a memo that we received from the CCSSO on March 13 that talks about it. So basically, it all comes down to what your district will do for all other teachers during this COVID crisis. So if your district pays, if your district will pay general education teachers for hours not worked, then you can also use your IDA Part B fund to pay your special education staff for hours not worked. If it will be 50% of the time paid for all staff, then the same principle should be applied to SPED staff as well. The compensation policy implemented by the LEA during this school closure must be consistent all across the board, including SPED.
Great, thank you. Second question, so number 2, if classified or certified, so your paras or your SPED teachers are not able to work their full schedule while school is in a soft closure, might we expect classified and teachers to use hours not worked but paid in providing compensatory services in June when they typically are not working?
Okay, and this again should be consistent to the policy the district or the LEA will implement. So if all teachers will provide compensatory services in June for hours paid but not worked now, then it will also be allowable for SPED staff under IDA Part B. Just make sure that any decision for SPED staff is consistent with the district decision.
And I just want to add right now, Anthony, that if you have your paras who are currently being paid and maybe have a little bit more time than they normally would, don't forget that this would be a really good opportunity to have them utilize all of those resources that were referenced by Bree and Julie earlier in terms of parapro training modules that are on the ITC. I know when we're in normal times, it's always a challenge for districts to find time to train their paras. So this might be a good option given the situation we're in. So don't forget you have our modules, you have the IRIS Center. There are lots of resources out there for paras in terms of just continuing PD opportunities.
Yeah,
so Anthony, I'll go to the next one. Oh, go ahead.
I said that's a good point.
Yep. So, and it really ties into the next question. With the cancellation of many scheduled professional development trainings, we anticipate our carryover may exceed the allowable percentages for some of our federal funds. Will we need to request a waiver to carry over additional funds, or will there be a statewide waiver?
Okay. So for the IDA Part B federal grants, there is no requirement for a minimum or a maximum allowable percentage of carryover. So in general, LEAs are allowed to carry over up to 100% of the IDA allocation if there is a valid reason. And COVID-19 is a valid justification for a large carryover balance. And there is a reference of the Code of Federal Regulation that talks about it. We know that some other federal grants have carryover requirements, but IDA doesn't.
Great. Number 4, if we need to repurpose a special education or a Title I paraprofessional for childcare, how do we handle time and effort requirements?
Okay, so since the work assignment will change during the school year, the monthly personnel activity report, PAR, will be the appropriate time and effort documentation for the variation of the work assignments. And this is the reference in the Uniform Grant Guidance.
And number 5, does the state have any recommendation to help districts provide internet connection to students who do not have internet access at home?
Okay, a good solution could be to purchase a MiFi device and have parents check it out from the school. For example, the State Department of Education uses Verizon Wireless for MiFi. And if you use your IDA fund to purchase a MiFi device to give to parents, it will be an allowable expenses under IDA, especially in this situation.
Number 6, can we purchase materials needed for the telehealth work?
Yes, the material are supplies purchased to provide special education and related services. And there's a code that talks about the material in general under IDE. So it's an appropriate purchase.
And our last, number 7, our last fiscal question, do you think we will get flexibility on maintenance of effort for special education like we did in 2008?
Okay, as of now, we have not yet received guidance from OSEP regarding LEA's maintenance of efforts. So as soon as we receive any guidance, we will make sure to make it available to you. But I do anticipate that we might have something similar, but I don't want to say it now because we don't know. And we have not received any official notification.
And just to remind everybody, if you recall at the beginning, I shared that NASD, the National Association of State Directors, as well as CASE, submitted their joint letter. And one of the main areas of concern had to do with fiscal. So they are making recommendations to OSEP to allow this fiscal flexibility. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that we'll get that guidance from the U.S. Department of Education soon. Hey, Anthony, thank you so much. That was really helpful. And I would encourage all of you, if you have additional questions regarding fiscal monitoring, et cetera, to send them to me and Anthony, and we will make sure that we address them during the next webinar. So again, thank you, Anthony. And at this point, we're going to turn it over. I'm going to turn it over to Elaine to start on some of the new questions that we have received. The first one has to do with confidentiality of student records, more specifically 8.1 and 8.2. And you will see since our last webinar, we've worked, thank you, Will, worked really hard to organize these questions and start to kind of lump them together based on the topic. So hopefully you will find it a little easier to use. So at this point, I'll turn it over to you, Elaine.
Great. And during our last webinar, we talked a little bit about the confidentiality of student records. We had some questions that came in during that webinar, and Charlie and I tried to respond to them at that time. But here is the guidance in writing. So there were several questions, and you'll see that I tried to lump the similar questions together. And when we get to the section on written notice, you'll see that we had a lot of questions with regard to written notice. But in the area of confidentiality of student records, there were several questions about having a virtual classroom, a Google Classroom, or Google Hangout. Is there a confidentiality issue in that classroom? And the answer is no, unless the teacher or the adult who's providing the instruction provides information that's contained in a student's education record. The fact that there's a virtual classroom, just like any other classroom where teachers or volunteers or other staff members may be popping in and out, there shouldn't be a confidentiality issue. So again, what's going to be important is that in those classrooms, the teacher is not discussing what is on a student's IEP. And that takes us to the question number 9, where you're providing speech through Zoom in groups. You have to have written consent or a HIPAA form signed at that time. And the answer is no. Similar to doing other groups where volunteers may be helping, teachers may be coming in and going out. What the provider is going to have to be careful about is, again, not discussing what is in that student's specific IEP. Also, I addressed the issue of HIPAA, and there is the guidelines. I've set forth the guideline for you at the bottom of question number 9. But that the HIPAA does not apply in a school setting, even if we look at those records, like the nurse's records, or we receive medical records from an outside provider. They lose their HIPAA provisions and they gain the FERPA provisions. So there isn't a HIPAA issue that comes into play. It's FERPA. That is the overarching confidentiality requirement. There was also several questions looking at 10.1 and 10.2 with regard to being able to communicate with parents using email, receiving back signatures from parents, providing invitations, written notices, invites to meetings. The IDEA does address this in part. It provides that a parent of a child with a disability can elect to receive notices by electronic mail communication if that option is made available. So the recommendation is that staff should contact parents, make sure that the use of email with those parents is something that the parents want to do. And if they do, then you can communicate through email. If the parents say no or they don't have email, you need to be communicating through mail. Then looking at 11.1 and 11.2, the required participant signatures. Again, similar, can you get it through email? Again, contact the parent to see if they're comfortable with doing that, recognizing, of course, that not all email is always confidential. But there is a requirement that you have to have prior informed parental consent for certain, in order to conduct certain things, such as an evaluation or to implement an initial IEP, and that the school has to take reasonable efforts to obtain that written consent. And without that written consent, the team and the school cannot move forward. So again, if the parent agrees, email could be utilized. There could also, if school districts would like to, could ask the parents to sign a consent form that allows the district to use email. That would be another option available. But to document the efforts that have been made to get parental consent, make sure that you have the consent prior to implementing, wherever prior written parental consent is required.
Shannon, if you'll skip to 14.1, Elaine, I think that's, we had covered 12 and 13 during our last webinar, so we can go to 14. Perfect. In this particular one, there were multiple questions, as you can see, 14.1, 2, 3, with regard to bringing in some select students into the school setting. And so that was a discussion that went on. If you turn now to the top of page 8, Shannon. The guidance that was received from both the Department of Health and Welfare through the governor's order, as well as the state board's school operations guidance that came out on Friday, is that the decision as to whether certain students can be served within the school setting or the home setting has to be made by the district and the student's parents, and it has to be based on that individualized need of the student. So any location identified for the provision of services must be designed to protect the health, safety, and well-being of the student, of the district staff, or the service provider. So the determination as to, are you going to bring in a few students into the school setting or an individual student into the school setting to provide services, that is again going to be an individualized decision. There's also the Medicaid school-based services guidelines can also help you with regard to reimbursement on that issue. But yes, the order for self-isolation that was ordered by the governor and the Department of Health and Welfare, as well as the state board's guidance, does allow for that, again, on an individualized basis. Great, Shannon, if you'll go to number 16, I'll take this one, Elaine. This had to do with an excellent question having to do with provision of services to parentally placed private school students. And the question really is, what is our obligation to continue to serve students in private schools who receive services through a service plan? With the private schools moving to a more remote learning, we cannot continue those service plans as written either. Are private school students entitled to compensatory education even though we only allocate a proportionate share of funds to them each year? A little reminder here, parentally placed private students, student does not have an individual right to receive some or all of special education and related services that a child would receive if enrolled in a public school. Since parentally placed private school students, they are not entitled to FAPE, then compensatory education services would not be required. But parents should be provided written notice informing them that the district is unable to continue providing the services that have been outlined on the service plan and the reason why. If a district has not expended all of the funds for equitable services by the end of the fiscal year, the district must obligate the remaining funds for special education and related services to those students. And you can again carry that during the carryover period for one additional year. So no, there is no obligation to continue to adhere to the service plan, but you must provide the parent notification of that, and the appropriate way to do so would be through the written notice. So Elaine, I think that's a perfect segue for you to continue to discuss the provision of written notice, and that would be question 17, 1 through 4.
So you'll see that we received quite a few questions with regard to written notice, the provision of written notice. And I'm going to, Shannon, I'm just going to ask you to jump to page 11, number 23.3, and I try to kind of sum it up here. I know that districts and staff are receiving a variety of different recommendations or guidance. And the question here was a case attorney was sending a written notice saying that it was not necessary. That was based upon a webinar that occurred, I believe, last Friday. And I guess what I want to say is that, that's why we have attorneys, is because we have differing opinions. And there's going to be different opinions as to whether or not written notice is required. But we know that written notice is required to be provided to a parent whenever the district proposes or refuses on the issues of identification, evaluation, the provision of FAPE, or placement options. So it's been our recommendation as a best practice to provide parents the individualized information on their child's educational program through the use of written notice. So we make this recommendation for a variety of reasons. One is that the parents are familiar with the written notice. It's the means by which they get informed of changes to their child's educational program and the changes that are being made. We also don't know, and what this recommendation is, being best practice, is to help protect districts. So we don't know what the future holds for us. We don't know what future decisions might be made and what will be viewed as a change in placement or a change of FAPE due to the COVID-19 school closures and providing services in the alternative fashion that is occurring. So it's a means by providing parents with information, informing them about their child's program, and if there's decisions in the future that districts should have provided written notice, you will have done so. So OSEP has stated that there may be exceptional circumstances that could affect how a particular service on a student's IEP is provided. And once school resumes, the team or the 504 team, the IEP or the 504 team, would be required to make an individualized determination as to whether compensatory education services are needed under the applicable standards and requirements. And we know that refusal to provide components of FAPE requires a prior written notice to parents. So if we're not able to provide all the services, you're covered by using the written notice form. And then lastly, providing the written notice addresses the individualized educational services of a particular student, and it also will assist that student's team in identifying what, if any, compensatory education services may be necessary for that particular student. So that's kind of an overview. Again, why you might have differing opinions out there and why it's our recommendation that written notice be individualized for each student.
And again, Elaine, because we have been getting so many questions regarding written notice, I want to reiterate that from the State Department, it is our recommendation that you use the written notice mechanism, if you will, based on all of the reasons Elaine just gave us. But if you choose as a district to do something else, then that's your choice. We're just giving you the guidelines based on information that is coming to us from OSEP, and making sure that we are giving you enough information so you are in a position to make informed decisions for your individual district. I will remind you all, though, that when this all started, and in the original OSEP Q&A document, and if you even go back and listen to the director in that webinar, there were, as we've mentioned in each of our webinars, some main focus areas. And just to remind everyone, it is about equal access, FAPE, individual determination, and compensatory services. Those are the main themes that you see throughout. So that's why we really are recommending that you use written notice, but we are not telling you you must. So just want to make that very, very clear. And then just a nice transition, Shannon, if you go to 22, we had another question regarding, and it ties into written notice, but we had a question, 22, since the end of year assessments have been waived for all student populations, do we need to do written notice describing the change? And the answer would be yes, because not all of our students, even in special education, are have teams decided it would be appropriate for them to take an alternative assessment. So there again, it goes back to that individual student. And if that individual student, let's say, was on the alt assessment, then by all means, you would just want to capture that in a written notice. The other thing I want to remind everyone of, Elaine, in terms of the written notice, we are not, I mean, I don't think anybody would expect a novel. You are just to capture the main salient points of the changes that you are making for that individual student. So it does not have to be massive. It just needs to, again, capture your overall story, which that can be consistent, you know, because we're all in the same situation together. And then a few sentences or a few items that then are tailored to addressing the student's individual needs. So.
And then piggybacking on that, if a staff member is not able to access the district forms, the IDEA does not require that a specific form be used. It could actually even be a letter. I've seen some districts do it through, or some states do it through a letter. It just needs to make sure that it has all that information that the written notice form sets forth. That's what needs to be on it. So it could be a form that is just a template that your district puts together, that you put together for this situation with COVID-19.
Elaine, I believe we have gotten all of our questions for today. You can double check, and then since we have you know, a few minutes left, I would like to turn it over to Dr. Karen Striegel. She's going to give a quick update on some Medicaid questions that she has received since our last webinar.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Hi, everybody. Charlie, thank you for letting me have a few minutes. I just wanted to let you know that Angie and I have a new COVID-19 Q&A that we updated today, and that's either going to go out later today or tomorrow, so you'll have a copy of it. Know that that also will get posted to the Idaho COVID-19 Resources for Schools page in that SPED section. The other thing that we're doing is posting all of those questions and answers to the clarification section of the ITC. so that you guys get an email with the document, the Q&A. The Q&A is on the Resources for Teachers Idaho COVID-19 page, and they're also in the clarifications. So since we're duplicating in the clarifications, it would help us a lot when you have, after reviewing the COVID-19 guidance or the COVID-19 clarifications, if you would use the clarification form to submit those questions, it helps me and Angie be a little bit more systematic and efficient about it. We've gotten, one of the things that made me put them on the ITC with the COVID-19 category is we've gotten some questions from some providers and some billers, and they've been almost the exact same questions that Angie and I already addressed in the Q&A. I know you guys have a lot on your plate, a lot going on. I respect that, but we really rely on your help to get the word out to folks. So the clarifications, again, lets us be systematic about it. So the other thing that I want to tell you is I'll be working with SESTA staff to create, sorry, Charlie, this is off topic. Working with SESTA staff to create some resources specific to supporting students with significant cognitive disabilities and all these alternative methods for delivering instruction. So my NCEO 1% community of practice, we're starting to meet more often, and there's some wonderful resources coming from other states. I don't want to bombard people with some separate resources when it fits in with pieces that were already happening. I saw a question in the Q&A a little while ago about resources from so many places and just getting overwhelmed because there's so much to look at. So I'll be working with SESTA staff to add significant disabilities to the resources they're putting together. So.
Hey, Karen, thank you. And that's a perfect, again, transition to now the questions that we have received during the webinar. So again, thank you for that Medicaid update. And as Karen said, the updated document will be going out either later today or tomorrow. At this point, Shannon, will you share the questions that we have received thus far?
I see several mentioning outside organization websites and listservs. To me, a lot of these have just been extra noise and make it harder to go through my inbox. Am I wrong to think that OSEP and this guidance from Charlie's office and SESTA resources are enough? I feel I get what I need from these authorities that our district has to answer to over other external experts that maybe just cause more confusion. Advice on keeping it simple, but still getting things right.
Yeah. Whoever wrote that question, oh my gosh, you're speaking or singing my tune because there is a lot of noise out there. I can't even begin. I'm sure your inboxes are the same as mine. And at some point, it just becomes incredibly overwhelming and it's a distraction, quite honestly. But you all get to make that decision for yourselves. I can tell you what we are doing. We are focused here at the department on everything that comes to us via OSEP. So that's our #1 focus. That being said, OSEP has endorsed 2 TA centers to help them get resources out to all of us. The first one is the National Center on Systemic Improvement, NCSI. And then the other one is an early childhood technical assistance website. What we are doing for you all is we are taking the information that is coming through those 2 TA centers, and SESTA is vetting those resources and then making them appropriate for our state. So we're trying to minimize the work on your end instead of going out there and searching through all of the resources, thousands of resources. We're trying to do that work for you. But again, we're aligning with OSEP and OSEP endorsed TA centers. That's our #1 focus. So is it enough? We like to think in the question, Shannon, I believe they asked, is it enough? We like to think that between the guidance that we are giving through these webinars and the Q&A and the SESTA resources, it is enough. But if you don't feel like we're meeting your needs, then by all means, you need to do what's right for you and your district. And you can participate in all the webinars and go on to the various sites. So again, I do believe we are providing you enough guidance to make sure that you are following the OSEP guidelines.
All other questions were answered live or are documented in this Q&A.
Okay, great. Elaine, thank you. SESTA, thank you very much. All of you participating, continue to stay healthy. Take time for yourself. It's about making sure that we aren't overly stressed, because we all know that that then just permeates to staff, and we don't want that to happen. We will have another webinar, hopefully a week from today. We will then share additional resources. I encourage all of you to continue to send your questions to us. And I also strongly encourage you to, before you send your question, to empower yourself. Read the Q&A document. If you can't find the answer in the Q&A document, then please send us your question and we will address it next week. Thanks again for taking time to participate in today's webinar.